Okay, so everybody, Merry Christmas to everybody. This is a breaking news right now. Christmas morning explosion in Nashville believed to be intentional. And as you can see here, you can see the smoke itself from the explosion that happened in Nashville, Tennessee. An RV parked in downtown Nashville exploded Christmas morning, injuring three and damaging some buildings. Authorities say the explosion is thought to be intentional. The FBI is investigating this. So now you got this RV that was parked in downtown Nashville. It did explode Christmas morning, injuring three and damaging some buildings with it. Alright. So authorities are saying that the explosion is thought to be intentional, and the FBI is investigating. It looks like a bomb went off on 2nd Avenue. Nashville Mayor John Cooper said at a 10 a.m. press briefing. Yeah, so the mayor of Nashville, John Cooper, said it looks like a bomb went off on 2nd Avenue. This is what Nashville Mayor John Cooper said at a 10 a.m. press briefing. The Metro Nashville Police Department said it believes the explosion to be an intentional act. And so this could be an intentional act, according to the police department. Said it believes the explosion to be an intentional act. It's unfortunate this happened on Christmas Day morning, but if it had happened on any other weekday morning, it would have been less fortunate, Cooper said. Yeah, so it's of course it happened this morning. The explosion in downtown Nashville. It says it's unfortunate this happened on Christmas Day morning, but if it had happened on any other weekday morning, it would have been less fortunate. And this is what Cooper is saying. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee tweeted the state will supply all of the resources needed to determine what happened and who is responsible. I believe that Antifa / BLM, because you can't forget them, are the ones that have done this. I don't know. But Tennessee Governor Bill Lee tweeted the state will supply all of the resources needed to determine what happened and who was responsible. So whatever resources he's going to give the FBI, they will go through everything that the FBI needs to determine what happened and who was responsible. And here is his Twitter account, Governor Bill Lee. Of course, as you can see, what it says. Police spokesman Don Aaron told the Associated Press 3 people were injured in the attack. So there was 3 people that were injured. All right. They were taken to nearby hospitals for treatment. None were in critical condition, so they were taken to nearby hospitals. Of course, they get checked out, and none of were in critical condition. So they just probably had a little shock after the explosion. So that's what happened. So if none of them were in critical condition, I'm pretty sure it's not that serious, but maybe just a shock to them. The vehicle was parked outside 166 2nd Avenue, according to Metropolitan Police, or Nashville Police, Department. The explosion happened around 6:30 a.m. Friday, so around that time, that's when the explosion started, around 6:30 a.m. The vehicle was parked outside 166 2nd Ave, according to Metropolitan Nashville Police Department. And here is the Twitter account for this, and as you can see here in the picture, you can see how this happened. And this happened on 2nd Ave, and linked to a vehicle that appears to have been intentional act. Law enforcement is closing downtown streets and investigation continues. So they're going to keep downtown Nashville closed until the investigation is complete. Of course, as you can see, every windows have been broken out by the explosion and everything. Cooper warned people to stay away from the downtown area as much of the city is blocked off by police. Yes, so if you happen to be around there, do not go near there, because then you will be accused of doing this and you will get arrested. So it's best you stay away from there. Of course, because Cooper is warning people to stay away from the downtown area. So whatever you do, do not go around that area, because it's been blocked off by the police. Traffic in the area was restricted as a protective canine sweep was conducted by police. So of course, you know, you got the canine, they're doing a sweep conducted by police. So that means they're getting their dogs out they're having their dogs take care of sniffing out whatever it is that they need to sniff out. But this is what the traffic in the area was restricted. So our canine teams are doing protective sweeps in the downtown area. So as you can see here, here's the dog as you can see in the picture, and of course with the police. So they're doing a sweep around downtown area. So please do not go around any area of downtown Nashville. Images and video taken in the area showed flames, smoke, and debris. Alarms inside several buildings were heard going off and sprinklers activated. Yes, so there was images, videos taken in areas showed flames, smoke, and debris all over the place. Alarms inside several buildings were going off as well, and the sprinklers were activated. And as you can see here, here's a picture. I do believe there's a fire crew around here, behind here, because you really can't see behind this building, but you can see the water. Before the explosion, Buck McCoy, who lives near the area, posted video on Facebook of his home after the explosion. So before the explosion, Buck McCoy, who lives near the area, he did post videos on Facebook of his home after the explosion. So his home must have got exploded with the rest of the buildings that's around that way, because Buck McCoy, he lives near that area. Alarms blare in the background and cries of people in great distress ring in the background. A fire is visible in the street outside. Yeah, so there's alarms that were blaring in the background, and the cries of people is great distress. So people are in distress from hearing this alarm in the background, and we know how annoying the alarms can be, because it's, you know, you just can't stand the noise or anything like that, but it's very distressful. But a fire is visible in the street outside, so people can see the fire from the street. McCoy says he heard gunfire 15 minutes before the explosion rocked his building. McCoy said the windows of his home were entirely blown out. Yes, so the explosion blew out his windows. But he did say that he heard gunfire 15 minutes before the explosion. Also, McCoy said the windows of his home were entirely blown out. All my windows, every single one of them, got blown into the next room. If I had been standing there, it would have been horrible, he said. Yeah, so all the windows that were in the one room, they got blown into the next room. Every one of them. He also said if I had been standing there, it would have been horrible, and this is what he said. It felt like a bomb. It was that big, he told the Associated Press. There were about 4 cars on fire. I don't know if it was so hot they just caught on fire, and the trees were all blown apart, he said. Yes, so imagine the trees are being blown apart during all this. He also said that there were about 4 cars on fire. He doesn't know if it was so hot they just caught on fire and the trees were blown apart. So this is what he said. So the trees just got blown away apart. President Donald Trump has been briefed according to White House spokesperson Judd Deere, who said that Trump, who is spending the holidays in Florida, will continue to receive regular updates. The U.S. Justice Department said Acting Attorney General Jeff Rosen was also briefed and directed all department resources he made available to help with the investigation. Yeah, so the president has been briefed on this explosion, and him and his beautiful family are spending time in the holidays in Florida, in Mar-a-Lago. Of course, there's the U.S. Justice Department said Acting Attorney General Jeff Rosen has also been briefed on this as well. Now, can Jeff Rosen be trusted? I don't know, but we know what happened with William Barr. He just didn't do nothing at all, really. So the 23rd was his last day for him to be out. So now we got Acting Attorney General Jeff Rosen about all of who's been briefed and directed all department resources he made available to help with the investigation. Federal investigators from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives were also on the scene. The FBI is the primary law enforcement agency responsible for investigating federal crimes such as explosives, violations, and acts of terrorism. So you got the DEA, or the ATFE of the federal investigations of alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives. They were also on the scene as well. The FBI is the primary law enforcement agency responsible for investigating federal crimes such as violations and acts of terrorism. So that's what they are for. Investigators from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives were also on the scene. So they were on the scene as well. That they're investigating this too. Federal Bureau of Investigation spokesman Joel Siskovic said the FBI will take the lead in the investigation. So now you got the FBI that's going to take the lead in this investigation of what happened. So they're going to find out what happened, who did it, and make an arrest, hopefully. 2nd Avenue, or Market Street as it was known until 1903, contains the largest concentration of Victorian commercial facades in Nashville, with many of the 2 to 5 story buildings date from 1870 to 1890. The Silver Dollar Saloon, now part of the Hard Rock Cafe on the corner of 2nd Avenue and Broadway, served as an entertainment venue for riverboat workers. So you got all these buildings that are like from the 1900s. These are very old buildings. These antique buildings. 2nd Avenue, or Market Street as it was known until 1903 after that. It contains the largest concentration of Victorian commercial facades in Nashville. So that's what it was known for, with many of the 2 to 5 story buildings date from 1870 to 1890. So that's centuries old building. The Silver Dollar Saloon, now part of the Hard Rock Cafe on the corner of 2nd Avenue and Broadway, served as an entertainment venue for riverboat workers. So yeah, so you got this Victorian commercial facades in Nashville. It is now, and of course the Silver Dollar, now part of the Hard Rock Cafe, so that's another old building as well. Of course, this is a developing story. We'll keep out an eye out more of this, but if you are anywhere around downtown Nashville, please stay away from there because you will be arrested and they're going to say, and the police are going to accuse you of something you didn't do. So go another direction wherever you can. Leave your comments below. I am out.